Next, we'll do number 6, which is ACR HACKS. I will turn it now over to Alex to present. Alex. If you're there, we cannot hear you.
Yep, I'm just here. Oh, there we go. I was just waiting for the screen to become available. All right. Can everyone see my screen?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Fantastic. All right. Afternoon, everyone. Our project, as kind of a title / description, is a qualitative search for cohort building and dataset creation. Our team name is ACR HACKS. We've been talking about doing the hackathon for a little while, and so we wanted to get more ACR developers involved in FHIR and DICOM and standards, and felt like this was a great way to do it. So, as we know, currently the healthcare community has been concerned about the impact of longitudinal COVID on population health. And imagine, if you will, a researcher who wants to build cohorts for this use case and gather data to research long COVID. For example, they could be looking for male patients who have identified as COVID positive with chest CTs between the ages of 35 and 65. With this knowledge, they can build cohorts based on the various criteria available, while also viewing the associated imaging in real time, various studies, and have that response meet the criteria provided. So this is somewhat similar to the kind of previous groups as well. So in order for that researcher to proceed further, we know that the patient information exists. It's available as various resources in some sort of structured format, sometimes with text, which is not ideal, but certainly getting better, and some synoptic structures with various codes. We know that this data is distributed across various systems, EHR, VNA, PACS, all the other kind of various domains. And there's a lot of heterogeneity with the data, and not necessarily a single place, single point of reference. So it gets very hard to crawl through data and correlate them accordingly. So what we have is a proof of concept that of how to allow this researcher to qualitatively search across the various systems using just a really simple search and dashboard interface. This can allow them to build cohorts, curate data sets, as well as just kind of show examples. One of the kind of prime examples that we had talked about going through was a med student shadowing and just being shown something. So a radiologist could show an example, a fairly specific example of a certain case to show that med student. We make use of the FHIR and DICOM web standards to correlate and compile patient data and the imaging and metadata as well. So we're going to have our mock-ups. I'll show the demo in a moment. But basically, we would just have the dashboard and the various results based on that information provided in the search. So quick go through here. So this is our dashboard that we have. We can search patient name, for example, and obviously all of our SIIM patients will kind of populate. We can search. We show here that the patient information. So we didn't get to a point where we were making this all perfectly pretty, but this is the patient resource and the various study metadata associated with this specific study. So we can go further, we actually have some things here that pre-populate based on what exists in the server. So within the Fire server, we've got these medications. There's one specific medication that one of our patients takes. So because we did not narrow things down further, we get all of their information, all of their various imaging studies. But we also show here that they are in fact allergic to something. We also show the medication information that gets back as well. And then down here again, we have our Lotto call with the metadata being returned. We do have an implementation to get the images here. We just did not get around to displaying them. But we also have similarly, you can choose allergies, and actually it's the same patient here that has this allergy, so we get the same responses. But we can also do birth date range and look at the various types of allergies, criticality, patient gender. Again, kind of the same thing here. SIIM Sally is a wonderful example because there's a lot of components kind of associated with her. So, yeah, so that's the demo. I'm just going to go back to this. So we can extend this a step further. Particularly at ACR, we have an interest in, using this kind of thing for AI and machine learning research. We are also interested in having this as a population health tool, virtual clinical trials, virtual registries. All these things are things that we could kind of take a step further in the this realm of kind of correlating the Fire and DICOM web standards. So yeah, and with that, I'll take questions. So our team here, all from the ACR, fantastic team of developers, and our application manager, as well as a domain expert, Brian Bielecki, which some of you might know, who's our director of IT standards and interoperability. So, yeah, I'll take questions. Thank you, guys.
Thanks so much. Any questions from the judging panel?
For the cohort building, have you given thought about how you would then sort of export the bulk data sets, and for the data set curation, how you might go about doing kind of editing and cleanup of the originals? I guess one of the things I might point to is sub 223. It's almost final text in DICOM on inventory objects. And
okay. Yeah, no, I mean, we had talked a lot about data set curation as more of kind of a next step. That was certainly this is right now, at least as it stands, more of a dashboard, more of a tool to kind of display things. But one of the things that we wanted to do next was kind of create an export function where, and ideally that would be de-identified for various research purposes, going through DICOM cleaner, some sort of Fire standard for cleaning things. But yeah, I mean, right now we would just kind of take the next step of adding kind of just a basic export, either as a CSV or something like that, and kind of have that associated again with the images, kind of pull down the images as a zip file, and just have them be referenced because we want to keep them together.
Questions? Okay, thank you very much. That was Project 6, ACR HACKS.